love it. Welcome to the Chelsea Football FanCast, fuelled by Guinness, powered by celery, and hindered by a cumulative weekend hangover, courtesy of Chelsea FC. I am Stephen Chidge, and the name of tonight's show is the Chelsea Football FanCast Nervous System.
Very good.
Yes, and if you like Killing Joke, you will not understand that reference, but I thought very appropriate for tonight. Now, joining me on the show tonight is the Chelsea supporter community's favourite pedant, also known as Rain Man. He's wearing an OC Hooligans t-shirt.
Of course I am.
We expect a few more free ones from you lovely people, Andy, but this is Darren Mantle.
I think I paid for this one.
Did you? Well, I think I should get a free one.
I think it actually gets me for free, either
California.
way.
SoCal. You're SoCal, Darren. It's great to see you, mate, as always.
You too.
We've got Ross.
Evening, Chidge.
The man with the ratings.
Yes, also still recovering from
Man, what a weekend. We'll talk more about that later on the show. Now, I'm absolutely delighted to say that on the show tonight we have a very special guest and a great friend of ours, and he is Mark Worrell, as well as being the original member of the Gate 17 Massive, as Marco would probably say, and CFC UK scribe. Mark is a prolific Chelsea author and has written some of the seminal books about following Chelsea, including Over Land and Sea, One Man Went to Mo, and Chelsea Here, Chelsea There. Mark, welcome to the TV version. I think a round of applause. Come on, wake up. This man's a legend, for goodness sake. It's good to see you, fella.
Nice to see you, nice to be here.
Now, the reason we've got Marco on, and actually there's a lovely picture that we've got of this because we were all at the party. There we go. That is Marco and Kelvin at the launch of a book that you know that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. And it's called Making History, Not Reliving It, and it is fantastic. And it's a collaboration between Marco and Kelvin and a bloke called He Who Must Not Be Named. And we're going to be talking to him all about it on the show. There it is. I have one too. We've all got one, and I can't wait. It's brilliant. Now, before we get on to all of that, though, Mr. Cheddar on the benches.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, thank you, sir. And yourself?
I'm very, very well, mate. It's an all-ticket event tonight, by the looks of it. All-ticket game at the benches.
Yeah, that's right. We've got lots of the regulars. We've got Gaffer with us, who you may have seen with his appearance on TV last week on the One Show.
Oh, yeah.
Frank, we're in on there seeing Super Frank. We've got Bunsey here.
In his Chelsea FanCast t-shirt.
Yeah, we have a lot of respect for that. Your favourite chef?
Mm.
Your favourite chef?
Andy Silverman, that's his name, Chad.
Yeah, that's it. And we've got Dan again with us
Excellent
today.
stuff. Love it. And I hope you're not going to be asking for fees now you've been on BBC One Primetime.
No, you'll be all right.
Okay.
I'll still do it for free.
Was it as much fun as this show?
No.
Good, right answer. OK, now, if you want to be on the benches like this lot are, and I do love it when people come on the benches, it's fantastic, all you have to do is to send us an email to chelseafancast@gmail.com, and I can make your dream come true, and also get you on the benches.
You won't fix it for me.
You killed my gag then, Ross. Timing, mate, timing. Anyway, what do you want to say?
You're not going to fix it for them.
No, I'm not going to fix it for them, not in that way. Easy, steady. You know, he's not one of our own, that's for sure. Anyway, you can also get in touch with us. Some people listen to the show as an audio stream on something called Mixler, and you can get involved. You can post stuff on the Mixler chat room. There it is, mixler.com/Chelsea-FanCast, and Cheddar looks after all of that, and he will talk to you in there as if you were a real human being, because he's that good. Other than that, you can also talk to Chad and us lot via Twitter, which is @ChelseaFanCast. Now, we will be discussing, you'll be amazed to hear, the great game against Crystal Palace on Saturday. And, of course, we'll be awarding our Man of the Match, Chant of the Match, Celery moments and Guinness moments therein. And, of course, the one thing that we will do slightly differently this week, I think, obviously we're going to talk to Marco about the new book, but in the You're on CFFC bit, it would be lovely if you were to get through Chatter, you were going to ask Marco a few questions about the book, and then we can have a nice kind of special 20 minutes on all of that later in the show. So, Twitter, Mixler, and of course you can Skype us. Get on the old Skype machine and you can Skype us, chelsea.fancast, and then we can see you asking Marco a question, and that would be wonderfully surreal for us. It's that simple. Now, should we talk about a game?
I'd rather not.
I think we should. Sorry, Darren, you're outvoted. It is time for the big match review. Hello, we're back. what can one say about Saturday? I mean, I was massively hungover, but you have to say another shonky performance by the Chelsea. Another 3 points, and we're third, equal second in the league, and looking forward to knocking the arse off their perch to be the Christmas number one a week today. Where did it all go wrong, I ask? Where did it all go wrong? We're going to hold that thought because, first of all, we're going to find out where Ross has gone wrong with his very own Poisonal ratings for this week.
Yeah, they were only a fractionally bit better than the Stour performance, but starting off at the back, don't think that's quite right, but Cech made a couple of very good saves. He got 7. I thought Ivanovic was solid at right back. He got 7. David Luiz had some good moments and some bad moments. He got 6. JT led from the back, got 7. Aspie was quieter than usual. He got 6. Essien still not quite up to game pace. He got 6. Ramirez and Torres, I thought were both poor, and their goals actually saved them from getting 5s. They both got 6s. Hazard played his part, but Palace kept him quiet. He got 7. Mata was a tad inconsistent. He got 6. I thought Willian was our best attacking player with a 7. I mentioned Torres already. He got a 6.
Does that mean he gets 12 because you mentioned him twice?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
And Oscar was okay off the bench. Not much to say there.
Not a lot to say about that. I think that's really interesting. I mean, because you know what I always find very interesting. You are a man of surprises, Ross. I've got to say, because I kind of had a look at the old Sky ratings, and they were way more generous than you were. So I mean, it's really interesting, isn't it?
Well, it's the thing. I think I've said this before, but really there are more gradations of performance than a 1 to 10 scale. So sometimes a player gets a 6 just about, and sometimes a player gets a 7 and he's almost an 8. So
okay, have you ever given like a spinal tap like 11.5?
Off the top of my head,
I think you should one day. That'd be quite.
I'll have a think about that.
All right.
I'll get back to
I
you.
mean, the interesting thing is this, and I'm sure all the boys will agree. We're all there, and you know. It was a shonky performance, there's no denying it.
5-word summary. 5-word summary of the game.
Go on.
Chelsea won, Crystal Palace didn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, everybody... I mean, I left the ground, like I'm sure we all did, and there was a bit of a miserable old, moany old mood, and yet, you know, we won, and you know, we were 2 points off the top of the table. I mean... What is not to like about that?
I think it was probably how close we could have been to drawing. That wasn't to like. It doesn't sit comfortably when we've got a match like Arsenal next week, when we want to. This is the time we've actually got to really gain some momentum. I think you know, the other thing that's interesting is that I think you're dead right. I mean, you know, there's no doubt in my mind we were hanging on in that game, and you know, we let them back in it to a certain degree, and. You know,
how did we let Marouane Chamakh slip through the net?
Well, I know, what a striker, you know. What a 25-goal-a-season striker, isn't he, Marco? I mean, no, but I mean, seriously, I mean, it's just such a weird thing at the Bridge. I know we've got all sorts of issues with atmosphere and everything else, we'll touch on that later, but, you know, the sense of panic when we let in a bad goal like we did. And the other thing is that, you know, it doesn't matter who the opposition teams are these days, they all... I mean, it's really funny.
We play to their level, whoever it is.
Yeah, well, I'm going all over the place. But, I mean, I was a big Phil on Saturday at the game. And, you know, Phil knows his football. I mean, he's watched a lot of Chelsea. And he said at half-time, he said, I know what's going to happen now. He said that Pulis will get them out. They're all revved up. They're all feeling a bit more confident, you know, and he'll just sit there and they'll defend and they'll try and hit us on the break. And actually, Phil nailed it. And, you know, he called it just right. And I, for one, sat there a bit panicky for the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Well, the thing is, I think if we were putting in a few more performances like the victory at West Ham, we'd actually be saying about these performances it's a sign of a good team who plays poorly and still wins. In fact, a sign of a title-winning team. But we're just not actually winning comfortably enough to trust the team from one week to the next.
And I think it's also you know, because we just expect to beat teams like Crystal Palace easily. I think the other interesting thing is the whole Mourinho thing. In no circumstances does that team, you know, look like a Mourinho team, apart from in one thing. You know, we're winning. We're second, third in the league. We're in the, you know, almost in the semi-final of the League Cup. We're through to the next stage of the Champions League. In other words, we're there or thereabouts. Just think about what would happen when we do get it together. Right, before you answer all that, what do they think on the benches, Chad? What do you lot think? Am I right?
Well, I think so, yeah. There's not much more to say. There wasn't much to that game at all, was there? Nothing to write home about.
I mean, do you think that, you know, it's remarkable, isn't it? Because we're clearly not playing that well. I mean, we're not really putting in fantastic performances, playing great football necessarily, making a lot of errors. And yet we're there or thereabouts. I mean, we're not far off. Just think what happens when Mourinho can sort out some of these problems. We'll be world beaters, won't we?
Yeah, well, like you say, we're kind of joint second in the league. We're in the next round of the Champions League, still in the FA Cup and the League Cup. Can't ask for a lot more than that. So it's just not all bad. It's just there is that air of gloom over it, but can't put my finger on why it would be.
Are we becoming, are we as supporters becoming a moany old bunch of you-know-whats? Is that what it is?
I think so. We've been very spoiled, haven't we, over the years? And I think the expectation now is that you do win every game and you do play well, and when it doesn't happen, it seems to get people quite frustrated.
Chadder, as you're a teacher, a primary school teacher, you deal with spoilt children all the time. Can you recommend a solution for these spoilt, petulant children of the Stamford Bridge Massive?
Yeah, just send them home to their parents at the end of the day after you've wound them up.
OK. What about them? Would you recommend the naughty step?
They could go on a thinking chair, and have a serious think about
what
they're doing.
it's called these days?
Yeah.
Right, I mean, as it happens, boys, I actually do have a thinking chair in the Hand and Flower, and I do my best post-match thinking with a few pints there. But what do you reckon? Are we on the right lines here?
I mean, Jose was always famous for shutting off a game, closing a game. When we go, if we're winning by a goal or 2 goals, we're going to win and it's not going to be an issue. Stoke, I never thought they'd score near the end, and they did. And again, with Palace, they could have scored near the end. And the biggest, what I don't understand is that half the defence is the same as when Mourinho was there before.
Yeah.
And obviously he's changing things around a bit more with having Luis as well as Vantage there. But I think he knows what Terry's like and he knows what Czech's like, and Terry is either not commanding or something's going wrong. He doesn't seem to favour Ashley Cole, who could bring in, who he trusts and whatnot. And I don't understand really how our defence is leaking goals when we've got a great defence who've proven they are.
It really doesn't make sense. I mean, one thing I will say, I had to go and speak to LBC after the match, and they had the gall to say to me, but surely Chelsea were playing better football last year under Rafa Benitez, and they'd done their homework. They knew who they were speaking to, and amazingly, I responded without swearing once, which I thought was quite good of me.
I think Chelsea this season maybe. Chelsea always used to play their best football against the best teams when I first started going down the bridge, and there's an element to that this season, sort of losing to Stoke, and then I think.
We got a word for that, Marco.
Well,
2 words.
Yeah,
glorious unpredictability.
Yeah.
Right, after the break, we will be talking more glorious unpredictability, but mainly why Chelsea strikers can't score. See you in a sec.